Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. Today I want to do another film hot takes. Please like and subscribe if you enjoy these hot takes. It'll really help out the channel. And without further ado, let's get into it. I think that the Blade Runner universe is cool in concept, but not so much in execution. I'm not saying it's bad, but to me the world isn't adequately built upon. I just feel like with that and like other films like Tron, like these were these old school things that were made that were cool, but after those first initial films, like they didn't really build upon it. They only have like two films between them. Like I don't know, Tron maybe has three. I don't know. I know it had the old school one, and I had a newer one in the early 2000s, but I don't know if it was one in between. But either way, it's just like they have these cool worlds, but they just really didn't do much with them. And I just feel like there's so much potential in these worlds that just isn't being tapped into, if that makes sense. Avatar is average. I don't understand why these films are so successful. Like, to me, I understand that the visual effects is very beautiful. I agree. But story-wise, I don't understand how it garners like over $1 billion. I just don't really see much beyond that. And, you know, something that I want to point out about James Cameron, at least something that I've noticed, is that he never really sticks around for his own franchises. Like, it seems like whether it was Alien, Terminator, I don't know whichever one he might have did. But it just seems like these are cool IPs that he starts off with the first two. And then after that, it's just like, he either just bails or like they just fall off in quality from that point forward. Like, I don't think that any of these, like, I don't think that Alien or Terminator got good past the second films in each one of those franchises. Like, after that, like, every other tried to reboot or whatever, they all just fell short of the original first two. And like, to me, out of all of the IPs that he's created, I feel like Avatar is like the least interesting, but that's just me. Like, I don't know, like I would feel much more confident about the success if it were the other two than it was Avatar. But hey, I mean, it's something about them that people like. I mean, if you're one of the people who enjoys them, you let me know why you think that them being a part of the $1 billion club is something that makes sense. The Star Wars community is a passionate one, sometimes to a fault, a lot of times recently. I think that the Star Wars video games and books tells better stories than the live action counterparts. That includes the original trilogy. I know, they're beloved and cherished, but I mean, when you look at the Old Republic video game story, you look at the Legends books and novels, you look at the recent High Republic novels, it's like, it should be really no question, like, which genres are really taking over in terms of the Star Wars universe, at least to me. I don't hate any of the live action I don't hate them. But I will say, the original trilogy was okay to me, just really okay. I grew up on the prequels, so those are my favorites. Revenge of the Sith. Anybody out there likes that? Yeah, how you doing? And the new trilogy is like, I mean, it was beautiful. It's definitely the most cinematic looking out of all of them, but I mean, that makes sense. But beyond that, characters were not interested. Their abilities, whether it was Rey or Kylo, like they didn't make sense to me. Like, in one moment they're really strong, but then they don't really show why that's the case. Like, I don't know, it just felt like, I just wish they never did those at all. Because you can dislike the prequels or the original trilogy, you can like both of them, but I just feel like the recent trilogy is just like, it's kind of like a stain on the Star Wars IP, and I don't think that any other Star Wars story has ever claimed that title. Like, all of them is either it's been you like it or you don't. But like, even the people who don't like the prequels, heroes, after time, they found them endearing. I don't know if that's going to change with the new trilogy, but I can't see it. Secret Invasion wasn't that bad. It wasn't good, but I don't think that it was as bad as people made it out to be. It definitely could have used some polishing on the script, and there were definitely things that, at least to me, made it obvious that Rhodey wasn't Rhodey. And I wish that they would have leaned more into the espionage aspect of it. I don't know, it just felt like it was pretty obvious who was a Skrull and who wasn't. And I think that the Super Skrull ending to me was like, I don't know how that makes sense. But I mean, I still didn't think that it was terrible. I mean, it was just really okay, which has been a trend for Marvel for the past couple years. I mean, it has some good things in between those years, but for the most part, it's been just okay, and then on to the next. I'm not a fan of James Gunn's DC plan. As important as his role is, I just don't really have faith in his plan. I mean, half of the, characters or stories that he's doing are unknown characters or very obscure characters, and I get it, that's more his style, but I feel like as important as it is for him to kick off the DC universe, the new DC universe, I feel like this may be a bad idea, and I'm really concerned. I'm still wondering, which one of these, I think it's 8 of them, 8 different stories. Which ones are going to be canon to the DC universe, and which ones are going to be a part of the Elseworlds? I don't really know how the Authority would fit into the main DC universe. I don't really see a point in making a film about Themyscira before Wonder Woman. I don't know. It just feels like a waste of resources to me, and I'm concerned. Hopefully it works out. I mean, obviously he has some type of plan, but will his plan appeal to the audience is the question. And I don't know. I mean, because Guardians of the Galaxy was an anomaly. He had no idea that was going to work. To essentially have 4 more Guardians of the Galaxy, in the sense that they're just things that most people don't even know about in terms of characters and stories, is it just feels risky to me. I'm really curious as to what's going on in his head about that. But yeah, we just have to wait and see, man. The Lion King is not the best Disney animated film of all time. I've heard this for years. People always say The Lion King is the best. The Lion King is the best. I disagree. To me, it's Aladdin, Hercules, and a Goofy movie in that order. First off, the films tell better stories. I mean, Aladdin is a street rat, trying to survive, and he ends up meeting a princess and a magical genie, and a sorcerer uses the genie to make wishes for himself so that he could marry the princess, or get her to like him at least, which ultimately gets him into a conflict with the sorcerer Jafar, who's also trying to marry the princess so he can rule. And now he has to beat him, save her. He has to do all of that and also be true to himself, because for the most of the film, he was really lying about who he was in order to get her, when it turns out that she liked him for who he was, not for who he pretended to be. And to me, that's just a better story. Hercules, a demigod born of Zeus, and I don't even know if they even talk about his mother in the film. I don't think so, they do. But born of Zeus and immortal, and Hades is essentially trying to kill him throughout his entire life. He has no idea until he gets older. And then he looks for a satyr to help train him to be a hero. And he falls in love with a girl who is sent by Hades to manipulate him, but he still loves her anyway. And even when he is tricked into giving up his demigod powers, he still tries to be a hero and save everyone, because that's just who he is. And he ends up saving his father and Mount Olympus. And instead of choosing to become a full god, he chooses to remain immortal just so he could be with her. That is a great story. And then a Goofy movie. A story about a father and a son in the growing pains between an adult and a teenager, trying to navigate his relationship with his son and not lose him. But at the same time, his son is trying to get the attention of a girl, we've all been there. His only way to do so is to go to some Powerline concert, which is like a funny name for like a superstar artist. But Goofy's way of doing that is taking him on a road trip, which his son definitely doesn't want to be on and is miserable. As Goofy's trying to connect with his son, like, it's just not working because he doesn't want to be there. And that really, it makes the relationship difficult to navigate. By the end of it, they somehow end up at the concert in time for it. And not only are they at the concert, but they end up on stage with Powerline dancing. In some cases, Goofy was teaching him a dance. Max definitely ended up with the girl at the end of that. And it was just a good story. It was funny. It was something that was very familiar to everybody because nobody's familiar really with, well, I guess a son losing their father, okay. But a boy who's a prince and is going to be king someday, but your father dying and you losing out on that and having to run away until you grow up to challenge your uncle. It's like, nobody can really relate to that. I mean, it's a cool story, but I mean, in terms of Disney stories, I don't really think that it stacks up. The music in Aladdin, Hercules, and a Goofy movie is better, just without question. I mean, with Aladdin, you have Prince Ali, A Whole New World, which is iconic. Like, even if you don't even know what Aladdin is, or you've never seen it, you probably heard A Whole New World. It has like 4 different versions. The animated version, the other version that came out in the 90s. I can't remember the name of the 2 artists who did the duet. You have the one by Zayn and another girl, and you have the one done by in the live action. So like, that song is just iconic. Like, as far as like animated films go, it's probably the most popular song in the world, actually. And also One Jump Ahead. With Hercules, you have Zero to Hero, A Star is Born, and The Gospel Truth. All of them just got like incredible melodies, and it's just fun songs to sing. Like, and it's just done so well. A Goofy movie, After Today, Stand Out, and probably the second most popular Disney or animated song in the world, Eye to Eye, done by Tevin Campbell. And what does Lion King have? Hakuna Matata, I guess. The Circle of Life, which is like, they're okay, but like, you wouldn't play those on your own. Like, that's something that you would only listen to when you watch the film. So you have Simba versus Hercules, Simba versus Aladdin, Simba versus Max. I just don't see how he could be better of a main character than any of them. And your main character is pretty much the most important part of the story because they're the one who we're experiencing the story with or witnessing the story from their perspective. Supporting characters, almost as important. You have Timon and Pumbaa, which, they're okay. But then you have Phil from Hercules, which is hilarious. You have Goofy, also hilarious. And then you have Genie, which is probably like the most iconic supporting character in a Disney film of all time. Who else could really compete? So yeah, man, like I definitely think that Lion King doesn't really crack the top 3. And if we were to even extend the list, like, then you got things like Frozen, Toy Story, Soul, like so many other animated films by Disney or Pixar that definitely slide into a slot before The Lion King would. But yeah, man, that's just some of my hot takes. Y'all let me know what y'all think. If you liked this video, please give a like and subscribe. It really helps the channel. And comment down below. What do you think about these hot takes? Yep. Are you one of those people who think that Lion King is the best Disney animated movie of all time? Let me know. And I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.